process changes that are, happening?
Okay. Yeah, this is the interesting piece, and this is where things get a little. So design is a one-step investment, right?
Yeah, one-time
investment.
Yeah.
It could be hard to design it, it could be hard to test it, but you're done with it once, and well, you're done with it.
Yeah.
Right? Yeah, you have your balancing act between, like you said, performance cost and
Safety. Yeah.
But once you're done with it, you're done with it. The thing with process is it's a continuous cost. So anything on process regulation sort of enforces a permanent cost of manufacturing, a permanent cost of establishing facility,
Right.
And hence a permanent cost to the battery pack itself.
Right. Got it.
Which sometimes could be more severe than the design changes. Right? The intent behind process, like we said, was to ensure that every battery pack manufactured was the first battery pack that was designed and certified.
Got it.
And I completely understand why the government has enforced these things. There have been a lot of companies that have flaunted the rules. There have been companies that have defrauded on the FAME subsidies. There have been companies that send a battery pack for homologation and then sell
something else,
a completely different battery pack. So in the IC engine world, there's something called conformance of productivity, which is, hey, this is what you certified. Are you producing this, right? And the same thing also exists in EVs. And I think there'll be a far more stringent enforcement of conformance of production. But beyond that, there are a bunch of process changes that are needed at a battery pack manufacturing level, mostly around traceability of every component. Starting from the cell, right? Every cell needs to have a marking on when it was made, etc. This data needs to be stored in a central database. We need to know how every cell has gone into every battery pack and sold where, to whom, and what they're doing. Again, this is a very good step. Fairly hygiene for any good battery manufacturer is already done. This will be enforced everywhere else. I'm sure there are a bunch of SaaS startups that will pop up because of this. But jokes aside, this is good. The bit that gets a little tricky on process changes is around cell cycling. There's now a new regulation that requires you to do a C/3 charging and a C/3 discharging of every cell.
Okay.
What that means, C/3 means 1/3 hour. So it's basically you need 3 hours to charge it and 3 hours to discharge.
So 1C is basically 1 hour to charge and discharge. C/3 would be 3 hours to charge and 3 hours to discharge.
Roughly. So it's a 6-hour cycle for a cell.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
Now let's say you're setting up a gigantic battery line.
Yeah.
Right? Or even a small battery line. Let's say you're making 100 battery packs a day.
Right.
Right? Some of these battery packs can use up to 200 cells. Right? So now you need 200 into 100.
Right.
Which is 20,000 battery cells. Right?
Right.
And each of these cells will take 6 hours. Right?
Ouch.
So now you only have so many hours in the day.
Yeah.
Right? Which means the only way to solve for this is to have a crazy number of cyclers.
Right.
So you almost need a farm of cyclers.
Yeah.
Right? So more than the battery assembly and process,
Yeah.
a huge cost could just be in the incoming cell cycling inspection.
Wow.
Right?
Okay.
Now, should we inspect every cell? Yes, we must inspect every cell. It's something that everyone does today. There is inspecting for a cell to say it's a good cell or a bad cell. And then there are companies that also get into that. Yeah, it's a good cell, but what type of cell is it? Is it belonging to this category, A category, B category, C category? It's called binning.
Right.
And then you sort of take those cells and build battery packs so that they club and they sort of gel well together.
Got it.
They're like friends. But there are smarter ways to do this. There are impedance-based measurements. In fact, you can also do 1 hour charging. You can do a 10-minute charging, 15-minute charging in our case, right? But a C/3 regulation basically sort of cripples throughput because no matter what smartness you can bring, you fundamentally need that many cyclers and that much time and that much space.
It's almost brute forcing the entire process.
It is, and I sort of understand the intent, but I think this is something that there will be more conversation about.
Yeah.
Because that many cyclers and that much space will fundamentally add a lot of overheads in manufacturing, which will reflect in either hesitancy to manufacture batteries, or also will just reflect in the cost of a per kilowatt hour throughput
Got it.
of battery. A bunch of the process change, like Rituraj said on the BMS, the ability to store data, it's both a design change and a process change.
Yeah.
You need not need systems to either store the data on the BMS, which is a design change, or on the cloud, which is a process change.
Which is fairly straightforward, I guess. I mean, as compared to the...
You'll be surprised how much it is not. But like I said, a lot of good batteries do it today.
Yeah.
But we now have to enforce that across all batteries.
Got it.
Again, I think we'll see a lot more IoT companies and SaaS companies jump at this opportunity. And that's great. I think there's good opportunity there. Beyond this, bunch of other process changes are fairly standard.
Got it.
And something that most companies do. So I don't want to elaborate too much on that.
Fair.
But these are probably the big process changes.